I'm back. I think it's been about 2 months. Really been busy with stuff like managing my crypto. I'll get into that later, but I know that's not why you're here. Um, Had a little bit of change of heart. I almost quit the game midweek. Like gave my account away and didn't even ask for money. I'll try to make the drama quick and short because I'm sure a lot of you are on servers where there's just a couple turds that ruin it for everybody. We have two of them on here that I would say are just not good people. I'd like to think like away from the game, they're like really good human beings and caring and loving everybody. But I kind of feel like if you're a jerk and a bully to people, I know it's a war game. How are you a bully in a war game? Well, these guys will come on to war chat. I definitely blocked him, so you're not going to see any of his talk. Like, this is probably the biggest turd we have on the server right now. In fact, I think he's sitting right outside my eye. If he is, he has a beef with one gal in our alliance, and maybe she's a bad person. I don't know. She doesn't speak English, so apparently they say she was a manipulator. And 2 years ago, she gave gifts to like somebody that was on the KOS site, and they're just out to get her. So it's this guy and somebody else in his alliance, Evil Wolf, who I used to be really good friends with this guy. The first week we merged, I brought my whole alliance to his alliance, and he started like freaking out like a little child in war chat, and we were like, oh my gosh, what kind of relationship did we just get into? Finally, I was able to get out of his alliance and go to a different alliance. I made a big mistake. I'm going to say a month ago, maybe even like 6 weeks ago. We had an SVS that it was clearly labeled as nobody could fight unless you didn't have your wings. I think we were going against a server that we knew we were going to lose against, perhaps. And I went to the forest and dropped my bubble, and they rallied me at night when I was sleeping. I should not have done it. I fully accept responsibility. My alliance kicked me, and that kind of started my downfall over there. The game was already boring to me before I did that, and all I really play for is, Battlefield kind of sucks, right? I'd like to get my wings, but Battlefield, I don't know. Either you get zeroed right away and win on points, but fine, you're zeroed, and then you're just going to sit 2 hours just trying to one troop the buildings just to get points. That's boring as hell. I'm sorry. And I guess if you're going for your wings, it's exciting and expensive, but your red wings, that is. So Battlefield really wasn't exciting. The only thing I really play for is SVS. We had nothing going on during the week. It's a nap server until recently. So the game was just boring. And SVS, come on, let's face it. This game, why do we play it? Sometimes you heard my last rant. So then now this we have this big fallout with these players on our server. They've went rogue and they're tile hitting, so you can't gather anymore. They're trying to blame it like we started it, but they hit us before. During NAP, they zeroed 3 of our players, and they blame it all on this gal that they don't like. And then they go into server chat, and they're calling me like fat and old. I'm 48. I'm fatter than I want to be. 210 pounds is enough on my frame, but whatever. That stuff doesn't bother me, but I did have a friend that started calling me out on Thursday, maybe Wednesday this week. And when that happened, then I just decided, like, I'm done, right? I think I gave her back a gold sub that we traded just because I was going to give my account away to the gal that these guys hate just to piss them off, because that would just drive them crazy because they know they can't touch me with my defense. So that's where we're at. Then we went into SVS this week, and it was kind of fun. I'm going to pause here and clear my throat. I'm not crying. I'm just... oh, look at this. Somebody's on a tile. Who's that turd? I got to let them know that. Why would you be on a tile? Oh, he left already. I'll just do that and keep ranting. Get the cough out. Let's look at what we're doing today. I got a list here written on my laptop. Let me pull that up. You guys won't be able to see it. So that's that. That's what the turds on the server. And then we got into the SBS. I got an email from somebody on the enemy server, and we're playing. I think it's 11:58. We got a really close war going on. There's an hour 8 left, and we had the lead, and now we just gave it up. I don't know who gave up the points. We shouldn't even be in close with these guys because they have a few players that are monsters. I don't know what they spent. I gotta believe it's well over 100 grand. It's a newer server. I mean, to me, it's a newer server. I'd say 2-3 years old. Let's see here. What am I doing wrong? Here we go. I'm just gonna find the guy that seems to be the beast. This I'll put it on the bottom. Archangel Sanam. I don't know if it's a dude or a chick. You can't go off the avatars anymore. So it's a K44, and they have 4,000 attack buffs. And the enemy server said, hey, we've been watching your videos for a long time, and they kind of freaked out when they figured out that they were matched up against us. They want me to do a battle report to how to defend against the monsters on their server. I wouldn't say I crushed it. I'm barely positive on points, but I am a K36, so against a K44, they were impressed nonetheless. Let's go back and take a look at these scores. So I'm in 4th place. A teammate here, Denzi, just found somebody and just zeroed them. Got a ton of points, and that's one of the reasons we caught up. And the gal right below me is the one that everybody, or those 2 people, hate. She has a kick butt. So I think she's got like 200,000 points negative, and she's over 1.2 billion positive. She's got about 200 million points negative, sorry. So what am I? 1.8 billion, and I think I gave up around 1.4 billion. So that's not quite 500 million points. It's more like, what, 460 million points? That's pretty good. Our top 2 players here were negative slightly. Oh, no. Our second player is positive. Nighthawk's a pretty darn good player. Nighthawk was not positive for a while, so I believe it's a she. Must have found some points, but that's not why we're here. Yeah, and then the third one down there, Geo, is 2.7 billion negative to 1 billion positive. So that's a big difference in a war like this. I don't know if they're going for their wings and just keep taking the abuse, or obviously they're not watching my videos, right? So let's get into it. Let's take a look. I didn't look through any of this stuff with you, so we're just going to look through it together. I mean, I didn't look through it ahead of time, so we're going to take a look. Let's go to the beginning. What I like to do, on a side note, is I like to keep my barbarians, and I'll take a look and see what, after I go back and I'll look, oh, yeah, that's right. So anything that's a 502 power or whatever one I just opened up is going to have ground, and I need to hit it with, what did I hit it with last time? So I like to keep those in my reports, and then I'll try to organize them later to keep them in order. So that's going to chop up my reports here. Why isn't it loading? Well, that's rather annoying. I don't really want to reboot right now. Let's take a look here. So the 16th, I don't have my calendar pulled up. I don't even know what the day is today. It's the 18th. Okay. So the 16th, we can start there. Let's take a first hit from this Archangel. I'm not quite sure. So I remember this battle now that we open it up. So he killed a good chunk of my troops. He, she, whatever. Is Sanam Sam or Samantha? I don't know. Anyways, this player attacked, and it looks like I won, but they ended up, I think I was even down like 3 million points, just negative after this attack, and it floored my mind. So I I wasn't reinforced, which will be important later. But let's take a look. What did they hit me with? Looks by the buffs, 3,200 ground attack. So it looks like that's what she hit me with. I obviously can't have to buff that. My ground attack is only 718%. I did do some adjustments mid weekend, so we'll take a look and see how that panned out too. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just take a snapshot of my debuffs here. We're going to go back to that later after my adjustments. So let's see. You guys have been begging me for videos, so this is what you're going to get. It's not a real organized video, but we're just going to have to work through it. This is probably going to be a long video. It might take like a day to upload the way things have been going lately, but heck, you guys have been asking, and it's long overdue. So, I was trying to do some math. Looks like they sent quite a few on their tiers, but it was ground, and looks like 4 big layers. Jeez. We'll take a look and see what kind of damage they did to me. So they sent ground. I think I had all my mounted troops home. No, I did not. I had 700,000 mountain troops in my stored in my bunker. That's what I'll do just to keep people from getting cheap points off me. If they send range at me, they still would get points now with a million T14 mounted troops at home, but it kind of tempers them down. Sometimes I'll rally those off to deflect them or reinforce a player near me if I can, just to get rid of the mounted troops. But it probably would have helped to have these mounted troops home during an attack, ground attack. So nonetheless, let's take a look at what I lost. Looks like my ground got decimated. My T14, 700,000 ground sent to the hospital, along with the cav. Let's see how my range does here. Doesn't look like they touched my range. So, I mean, this goes back to the battle mechanics that we talked about in one of my earlier videos. Ground will not reach your range troops. Even though ground kills range extremely easy, they won't be able to reach them because your ground and your mounted will hold them up, because ground don't have any range. They're, is it called, melee, whatever they call it, when you're basically hand-to-hand combat. Those two walls come together. His ground will attack my ground and mounted first, then I get to fight back. If I kill him before my ground and mounted are gone, they do not get to go and attack my range. So essentially your siege and your range will sit behind your, I don't want to call it your wall, because there is a wall, so I don't want to use that word. They'll sit behind your ground and mounted layers. They act like a barrier. There's a word I can come up with. So you got your barrier of your ground troops, and grounds have a huge amount of health and defense, so they do take a lot to get through. They don't kill much, but you got range and siege sitting behind it. So that's why, even though ground has the advantage over range, they can't get to them. So you can see my range barely got to 208. I don't know how 208 die. You would think it'd be more or nothing than that, but let's scroll down and take a look. My siege didn't get touched. Right there on the top. I don't have a lot of T15, 14 siege, and that's for a reason I'll get into later. I've discussed it in the past too, but we'll talk about that later. So my siege gets to kill some, took out some layers. Doesn't look like it took out too many ground, but they don't get touched. I didn't lose any siege. I really didn't lose any range. I mean, you can see my T13 range. Nothing died there. Oh, I know why. The reason I lost 208 range is because they sent in a layer of range that was able to shoot over my barrier and kill some of them. That's all. Like when they send 10,000 layers on their top layers, it killed 208 of my range. So that's why just a few died. The ground, again, got decimated. I know it doesn't make sense because my ground is supposed to attack their mounted troops, but the way the battle comes together, my ground is the first thing that they can get to. And that's why it's also important to have a skill book on your wall general of range, attack, range. And that puts the range further back from my barrier. Same thing with the siege. You want to have the siege range skill book, and you want to have a ring or the bracers that have siege range bonus to put your siege even further back from your barrier. Again, a lot of that's reviews. So we're just reading these reports. I told you it's going to be a long video. I got to move this forward. So you can see now my ground's starting to go into the hospital, or where you would use your... They're dead. I would have to use my source of life now. So it starts to get a little more expensive to heal, but they're lower tiered troops. So now you can see why I keep my hospital empty, and I like it to have as much capacity as possible. Let's see what they did with my layers, my T1 layer. So they got to it. They did kill 6.5 million troops with their ground attack. So they would have to get through that layer before they could get to my range, really. Or the battle would have to go through many turns in order for them to touch my range. But that's about where it stopped. I was going to cover this later, but I guess we'll throw this in here now. You don't know, I'm not going to, because if you guys skip over the battle reports, I want to at least cover this later. So let's go and look at another battle report. I just want to make sure I gave you everything you need to see in here. Let's look at the summary. So the march size was almost 6 million troops. And even though they lost more power, I lost more points. So, not quite sure exactly. I know there's sheets that show you how many troops are worth what points. And I know they kind of nerfed it for the T1 trap, to where if you kill some of their T1 troops, you get more points. But I honestly don't know why he got more points than me. And I don't think it was a glitch. I think it was legit. So that was the first one. That was a range troop, or I mean a ground troop. Let's see what this one is here. I don't think this was back to back. I had no reinforcements. Did a little better, 390 to 570. I believe I was slightly positive after this one. They killed a lot more troops, 29 million. So let's take a look and see what they sent. Let's look at their buffs first. Looks like mounted. So whatever, he must have remembered me. He, she, Samanthiel must have remembered me, because the last attack, they had the 4,000% buff. So, and they strategically waited and planned and schemed. So I'm not quite sure where you'd find another 500%. But they definitely set up something. So 3.5,000%, and I can only debuff, almost 1,100. So there's quite a bit of undebuffed attack coming at me. All right, I'm blabbering. Let's keep moving here. Wait, battle details. So let's see what their mounted troop gets through. Do you want to see their layers real quick? Looks like 1.5 million T15s. And almost over 2 million T14s. It's still a lot of troops coming at you. That's like a full rally from a solo. And then his third layer of T13s, he had 1.7 million. And then T12s, oh no, well, that was only 160,000, which is new to me. That's not the way I set up my battles. It's I've seen guys on the internet that do that. I mean, you can see the T11s kind of taper down to 80. So there's some interesting math there that I might have to look back into. I know some of the more experienced players, they'll all the way down, they'll have more mounted troops or whatever attack you're sending. You'll have more of those troops all the way down, not just clean cut 1,000 of everything. I don't have that big of a march size yet, so I think I know I can get over 2 million if I got a really good boost on, but what's this guy sending? Like, what do we say? Almost 6 million? 5 point, almost 5.8 million troops. That's a lot. So we're going to take a look and see what kind of damage they did. So they're sending in mounted, so my ground should be dead. It is. My range lost about the same as last time from his other tiers. So nothing to see there. My mounted troops did not die, not even half. And I didn't have a lot there. So I was ghosting my mounted troops. Probably didn't help me any. Because I'm trying to kill their mounted before they really get to my range and ground. So I probably should have had my mounted available to do some killing. Didn't lose any siege again, which is interesting because I would have thought his big siege layers, even though he didn't send many, would chip away at some. They get to attack first. So I'm surprised I don't have a couple killed in that, but fair enough. My ground is dead. My mounted here did some, or my range, didn't lose any range. My mounted here, I lost about half or less than half again, but I got some killing out of it. So all those ground troop are gone. The range didn't get touched, but it took out some nice chunks. I definitely wouldn't mind having more range, but I want to keep my power to where they want to hit me. Now, if I was going up against guys like this every week, I know I could add more power because this guy was going to hit me no matter what. So you can kind of see the theme here. Ground troop died, barely killed anything because, you know, mounted troops are very vulnerable to ground troops are vulnerable to his mounted troops. So they're going to die and not do much killing. So looks like the same thing we're seeing all the way down. All right, enough on that one. So then he hit me more times than I thought. So this looks like the third attack. Oh, you see how many points I lost here? That's because it's probably a rally, and there's going to be more points down here. Yes, sir. So this one, I feel like 4 people reinforced me. And it was a rally. It looks like just a 2-person rally, I would have to guess. So I had 4 people reinforcing me. I still lost a good chunk, but it looks like we lost about 431 or 831 million to his 880 million. So that's really not that great. That's like a push. And with the way the scoring went, maybe I even lost points. Let's take a look here. See, now his mounted troop is up to 3,960, almost 4,000. That's pretty impressive. There's my debuffs there. I didn't make my switch here, so I'm not going to take a snapshot, but it's interesting that my ground troop attack debuff seems to be down. All right, I'll take a snapshot out of it. Let's just take a look at these here. I'm going to take a look at those last 2 pictures. So I'm looking in here at my attack debuff. It's only 560, and it's 718 there. That's interesting. I wonder why that would be. How I went. I mean, I know there's more. This was a ground attack, but I wasn't fully debuffing either one of his ground stats. Huh. Looks like all my ground was stronger in my original attack. The debuffs. I don't know why that would be. I didn't have any dead subsidies to where I lost the gear there or anything. Yeah, it looks like all my debuffs. Huh. Hang on a minute. I just wasted your time. I don't think that was my attack. I was reinforcing the guy. This wasn't even me. This is Denzi. Okay, so he busted even or lost on points even. So there, I just wasted all your time. I should take that one off of here. All right, well, let's not do that again. I'm sorry. I'm not even going to edit it out for you because it's my time that's valuable, and you guys want the video. So there you go. This is why I don't read reports. It's so long and time consuming. So this looks very similar to the first attack I had, and where I won on points, but I actually lost a little bit. This is probably a little more of a win for me, but barely. So let's see. All right, let's see what this guy sent. This is another mounted attack. So now let's look at my buffs. This was before my adjustment still, and they look very similar. So I'm not going to even snapshot this. Looks like they sent mounted 3,500 again. So this is a learning moment for me. So these are solo attacks, and he's coming up with 3,500 mounted troop attack. But when he rallies, he's gaining 400% attack. So I don't know if the joining general's stats are stacking. Here's what I'm looking at. He hit me twice solo. Whoops. Solo with 3,500 mounted attack. And then he hit us with 2 rallies. And he was at almost 4,000. So here was his original attack on me. Nope, that was ground. See how he's still at 3,500? I got to do this every time for you guys. I don't know. I just want to make sure you guys know what I'm looking at. He's right around 3,500 mounted attack on the solos. Then when we get to the rallies, you saw the last rally. I'll show you again. He was at almost 4,000. And then if I look at the rally that I wanted to show you next, he is at 3,900 again. So he is gaining 400% attack by a rally. And why I'm struggling with this is because when you solo hit somebody, you get to bring all your subsidies along and you get all those debuffs. But when he's doing a rally, he's gaining 400% attack. That's new to me. I don't know why you would get extra attack from a rally unless you're able to use the rally joiners. I was told back when I started this game that even when you're attacking monsters, that Ebony will take the highest general's stats, even the joiners that sent 1 troop to a monster rally. I never really looked into that or heard that again. So I'm looking at this guy's generals, and is there a chance that this clown has more attack than this guy that spent, this Samantha Ma'am guy that spent $100,000 to $200,000 on his account? I kind of doubt that. So are they stacking? Interesting. I killed his generals, but not the rally leader's generals. So why would that be? Does anybody know? I'll read your comments. This is going to be a long video, but you guys wanted to see. So now that we're in this report, we'll take a look at this rally here, and then I'll try to go through and see how I did it. Looks like my debuffs are about the same. He's sending 4,000 attack mounted troops at me, that's pretty big for me, for what we're seeing. So this one, I had a ton of reinforcements, the most reinforcements I've ever had in my career. But some of them were weaker reinforcements. Look at that. Is that unreal? So there was one bad march in here. I think it was Donna. Yeah, so this isn't a PvP march. That really doesn't do much for me. And they got their ass kicked. All those ground troops died, so they lost 1 million ground troops and did barely any killing. That's not good. I just joined this alliance, or we just merged with this alliance, so I'm not sure. I don't know this person. I haven't talked to them, but I also took my farms and sent in troops. So when I say weaker looking troops, like this is my farm. I just wanted to put 1,000-ish layers. I put the siege in here. This is interesting. I haven't looked at this yet. I put in more siege because they stand behind my barrier of my ground and mounted. This guy has no stats. I guarantee you this is just a farm. And yes, Ebony, I use farms. Ban me. I also use bots. We'll get into that later. So I just kept a few extra in there, and they actually did some killing. I mean, nothing great, but every little bit helps. So I could soup up my siege on these accounts if I want to reinforce myself. So then my Dixa Dragon is another farm of mine. I just sent in like 1,000 of each troop. And all that does is this is a turn-based game. So you remember that whole barrier thing. His ground come in. They get 1 turn. That's why you send 1,000 of every troop layers down when you're attacking, because it keeps my troops from attacking his as well. So in a turn-based game like Ebony, his troops have to take turns on all these people that reinforce me. This is quite amazing. I didn't realize it was this many. Anyways, so all these troops all these players gave me, what, 13 different layers times 4 is 52. So each person had about 52 layers that they had to take turns on before they could kill my troops. So kind of amazing they killed anything if you think of it that way. So let's see what they did. Let's see what kind of damage I took here. So my ground still dies because they sent mounted. My ground's going to be the first thing that they engage. Even though mounted troop are faster than ground engage first. So either they start closer to the battle. I'm sure they do. They start closer to the battle and the mounted troop kind of catch up with their turn, but ground always goes first. It doesn't make sense. That's just how it works. So anyways, so my ground's dead no matter what. They get to attack first. My ground is dead. My range killed a lot and didn't lose any again. My mounted troop, I kept them up because I knew what they were sending. I didn't hide any mounted troop. And now you can see that my mounted troop did some killing because I kept that layer beefy. I didn't ghost them because I'm going up against a mounted incoming. If it was range, I would have hit him. I would have reinforced somebody next to me, rallied them. I don't want to rally because I want to bubble immediately against this guy for sure. So anyways, I kept my mounted troop available, and they did some good killing. I mean, they killed almost as much as more than I lost. So we'll keep going. Siege did good again, like always, hid behind. I don't have a lot of siege. If I had more siege, it would be great, as long as they don't hit me with siege. Then it sucks. It's a liability. So we'll get into that later. I had a question from one of you watchers that I'll get into on that. So looks like a typical report. I don't know if you're learning anything, if I really got to keep going through this. My ground dies, but all their march dies. I mean, if you're built like me, you're going to lose points, but you're getting more points than you lose. You really can't have the best of all worlds, and they're just not going to attack you. So I'm trying to keep my power as low as possible. I want to be attacked. A lot of you people don't want to be attacked. You're just trying to make it so that they'll learn their lesson and leave you alone, especially if you got bullies on your server like we do. So do you want to see how some of my reinforcements did? This is a better player who reinforced me here. Ground. Oh, no. He sent range. Sorry. Interesting. He didn't have any layers of his ground or mountain on the top. I don't know if he wanted to get more killing done and take less damage. He did not lose many troops at all. Not at all. But that's not a good march, my friend. I wonder if I was full. No, I wasn't full. I can take 20 million reinforcements. I only had like 13, which is a ton, but I had room left. So that's not the best march, my friend. But he did good, though. He got some killing. So that doesn't help me, though, to not have those layers as much. It helped me, but not as much as it possibly could have. Bert Lover, he knows what the heck he's doing. So let's take a look. So he's got a range again because it hides behind. It's also good to reinforce with siege if they're not using siege, because you hide even further back behind the barrier, and you do more killing because siege have a lot of attack. So we're just looking down here. I mean, they didn't lose much at all. So just some layers. I mean, I asked them for like 1,000 of each troop tier, and they already had presets going. So you can kind of see what's happening. So let's see what the attacker did. And it shows the attacker had troops surviving. That's simply like death turned survival stats. Otherwise, their whole march is dead. I don't really know that we're going to see anything different in here other than the subsidies aren't attached because it's a rally. We probably want to see what he killed out of mine. Let's take a look at this guy, see if they're similar. And they are. I'll just scroll through it, and you can slow and pause wherever you think you need to see something. But that's about it. Let's see what he did to me after we look at how many troops they sent. So their total rally, jeez, he must have really buffed up. 7.3 million was his march size. Combined, they're at 11.3 million troops. That's a lot. That's a lot. You can see how much power my reinforcers lost. 127 million. So let's look at it. 638 million lost to 1 billion power, just a little over 1 billion power if you combine their two power rankings. I will take that. Now, to recover from something like this, I think it was like 200 days of healing, and I think I used, I'm going to say only 1,500 source of life, because I think I had 2,400 and I've got some left. Really tough to say. I feel like it should have been more than that. I mean, I would have guessed I used 2,000 to 3,000 source of life just to take a hit like this. But I mean, you're getting 1 billion points in an SVS. That's pretty cool. So I think that's all I'm going to show you with battle reports. There really wasn't anything else exciting going on. I've got the battlefield, but without my reports loading, there's not really much to see there. I think we're going to leave it at that. Let's see how much time this guy's left on his thief. You guys mind if I do this real quick? We got a visitor. It would be kind of cool for me to like live stream a... What's this guy want? I'd let you hit me. I think he was the guy that joined in the rally. So I'm not really in the mood. Even though we need to win this server. 34 minutes. We're losing. Dang. I can't make up that difference. I can't make up 700 million difference. Unless you hit me multiple times. So, Sita, what are you doing? Is she trying to win it? I'm going to send siege. I don't know what she's doing. What makes me upset about this is... Oh, she's just messing around. All right. we'll be done with that. What makes me mad about that is I didn't change my gear. I think I need to change that before I march. I forget how that all works. You're listening to me, and I don't even remember if it might be before you march. I don't know. But I didn't boost, and I didn't put any boost on, or I don't know what else I was going to say. What else I didn't put on. Okay, let's get back into this video. Sorry about that, but you guys say you like my rants and my ADHD. So that was that. Where did my buffs come from? I definitely put on a like the 10-minute city bus, you know, no surprise there. The bottom one, you know, to go from instead of oh, that's a march increase. Instead of doing a 20% attack for an hour, I did 50% for 10 minutes. I set my alarm for 9 minutes because when those go out, I'd rather not get caught with my pants down. So I did that for all three, but nothing really too special. I've got the same sub-city generals on. 6E, I took the 5 stars, but that's been that way for a long time. I'd get all these buffs, and it really helps with the barrier. So when I'm going for buffs, debuffs, I want to, or buffs too. When I get debuffs, I want to debuff their mounted and ground, because that's my barrier. When I stop that barrier, that's when I win. Just like in football, you know, it's one at the line of scrimmage. That's your line of scrimmage. Your ground is your biggest line of scrimmage. So I'm always trying to get ground ground defense and HP. I'll take ground attack wherever I can get it, but I want my attack on my range and my siege. And so if I'm doing debuffs, I'm not that excited to get like range, HP, and defense debuffs. They probably help a lot more than I realize, but I'm trying to stop that wall, and I'm trying to build up my wall. So that's usually what I focus on. And there's a lot of places you can get buffs, and when you have to choose, like say you're doing your duty officers, I'm going to do the ones first that give me ground and mounted troop buffs. I don't really care, like this one here, the first star, the first red star is in-city range troop, siege, defense, and HP. Now, when they attack me with a siege bomb, I love to have that. But if I have a choice, I'm going to buff up my barrier first. And then I would go into these type of officers second. I think this guy here's, no, he's the same thing. So, I mean, what? Oh. All right. I'm not quite sure why she's trying to toy around. She's trying to take a hit. She has a defense build like me, so I wouldn't. It's not as successful as me. She doesn't spend at all, so it's not quite as stout as me. Just trying to say it like it is. She would tell you that. All right, so there's a few other tips I was going to get into, but I guess I'll get into that right now. This to me is like a secret tip that isn't a secret anymore. So it's a semi-secret tip. The players that don't speak English probably don't know this, but I found a lot of English-speaking people that don't know this either, but Genghis did a video on it, and I saw one other person do a video on it, so I think this is fair game. I'm going to show you guys. I think it's going to blow your mind if you haven't heard of it. If you have, big deal. You already know it. So up here is the Council of State. I like to call it the Senate. Anyways, you go up to the Senate badge, and if you put a player in there, I'm going to ruin the surprise just by opening this button. So if you put a player in there, a general in there, you're going to get the first layer buff. Then if you spend a bunch of Blood of Heirs on them, you get more buffs. But I need my blood in other places. As you see, I build up these worthless tavern duty officers to get all my buffs. I don't have blood for this. Well, since they have made it so you can ascend purple generals, I didn't really quite catch this on my own because I didn't know when you ascend a why would you ascend a purple general? When you ascend a purple general, it doesn't cost you any blood of heirs, just fragments. So basically, it only costs you the 10,000 gems to dismantle a purple general. No blood of heirs. So look what I got here. Now, there's only 2 generals that this qualifies for. Is this top one, Miyamoto, Mushiaya, and then Joan of Arc. Those are the only 2. The top one is a ground, and the bottom one is, or the Joan of Arc is mounted. So, since I'm here, I want to talk about Simeon. Simeon's like my best range general by far, my best general. I'm not an attacker. I'm a defender. I can do some damage with this guy. But since I knew I was taking a rally, I shoved him in here and put 4 stars on there, and I got some extra in-city ground defense, or HP, mounted troop defense, and in-city troop defense. I did all this after, for the last rally that I took. So maybe we can compare those boosts. But now getting back to Joan of Arc and this Miyamoto, I'll go over even one more. This is the second layer, because I think I'm up to level 14 Senate, Council of Senate. Look what you're getting for buffs. So I was already getting the mounted, or the marching ground troop HP. That doesn't help you on defense. But with these purple generals, I'm getting in-city range troop attack 8%. You remember, my range is sitting behind my barrier and just plowing away. I also got in-city siege machine HP. I'll take it. Not what I'm targeting, but I think it's more important than I give it credit for. Marching ground troop defense, I'll take it, but I don't need it for defense. And in-city troop HP, 6% over all my troops. That's 24%. For a free general that I picked up in the tavern. Same thing with Joan of Arc. I'm getting in-city siege machine attack. That's awesome. In-city ground troop HP, in-city troop HP. Dang straight. And you know, before I go to bed tonight, I'm probably going to have the rest of these stars filled out. But let's go take a look at the tavern real quick. I'll tell you how I play it. I can't believe I'm actually going to show you guys how to use the tavern. So what I do is I just click the historic general button. I don't click the orange general button. I don't know why, but this is working for me. So normally when I'm going for a gold one, I'll click them both. But I keep that one unclicked, and I just smash away. Now what I do here is I try to get in the habit of just hitting the cancel button. Right now I know this general. I don't need him. I could hit confirm and it would skip. But if you hit the cancel button, it's a good time to look down at the bottom. I mean, I'm sure you guys know this, right? If that's what I'm calling the bottom. If you look there, there's 2 purple generals there. I'm going to scroll off of this guy. So now do you see the difference between the 2 purple generals? The one on the right has a crown on it. That means that he's got a free skill book, or a 4th skill book. That's this tenacious cavalry officer. I don't want this guy. Don't get this guy. I'm just trying to show you what I'm looking for. So when I hit my button and it says confirm, I'm looking at that spot where those dots are, and I'm going to cancel, because what I've noticed is it'll get stuck. Like if you get a yellow general that doesn't even have a skill book, like a crappy, worthless, like Tracy is one of them. It'll stop on Tracy, and when you hit cancel, you can go and look and see if this is one of the guys you want. And I found it where there's even like 2 purple ones that weren't brought up. So again, just smash away and make sure that there aren't multiple generals to scan through. This chick can be ascended, but to me, she's garbage. So I don't ascend her, but I will ascend. All right. It's going to be a long video. Should almost stop the video and start another one. Just do a part 1, part 2, so they actually load tonight. Okay. So these are the guys that I'm ascending. I'm doing 1 for each level. We don't really even care what their skills are, because we're not using them for their skills. We're using them for their star level. But I'm trying this out here. Where are we here? Sorry. This guy. Now, he looks a lot like Octavius or whatever, but Spartacus here, what I look for is the abs. You can see his abs. Yeah, I'm into girls, but I was looking for his abs. I'll show you why later. But if you look at a skill book, once you start ascending this guy for free, you're not using any blood of heirs, you get stamina cost reduction and double drop rate along with monster debuffs. So you're getting 2 minus 5% stamina, so 10% save there. And I'm going to pair him up with Nathaniel Green, who gives you like 25%. So I'm going to get 35% off stamina, which I need that. So that's Spartacus. And the reason I look for his abs is because I was accidentally collecting this. Well, that's Spartacus. This clown. This guy doesn't have abs. He's got abs like me hiding behind a piece of metal, so he looks good. So I just don't take that guy a mistake. That's all I wanted to tell you there. So that's the tavern. I don't think you need any more tips on that. Okay, I think I'm ready to get into the next tip. Let's go back and look at this PvP report. How long of a video is this? Is it gonna... all right. This is a long one. It's going to take me a long time to upload this. It's probably going to be after this, probably like Tuesday by the time it's done downloading. Archangel. What we wanted to look here was my buffs. My these buffs. So that's the good one. And then we're going to go back to one of my earlier ones before now my reports load. What a bunch of clowns. All right, and then we're going to go to the first one here, and we're just going to take a look at these buffs, and we're going to compare with and without the Senate. So now the first one here is without the Senate. So I wonder if I can just scroll back and forth. Okay, so let's go up to the top ground attack. Before I put those purple generals in, I was getting 12-11, the very top attack. Obviously on the left side, the right side is his. We don't want to look at that. We're looking here, okay? Specifically the top one, that 12-11. So just keep your eyes on that. I got 48% attack on my ground, 55% defense on my ground. I think we have a problem here because remember I told you I used a 10-minute boost, and I probably wasn't using a 10-minute boost here. So I don't know how accurate these numbers are going to be because that Senate isn't giving me that much. So I'm probably getting 40% just from those buffs alone. Right? Because I used on a... Sorry, this is good video. City buff. If you recall, my attack, I think I used like a 20% on the first attack, and then I used a 50% on the second attack. So that's 30% attack right there, and that goes to all your layers, so it's going to show up as ground attack in that column, and all the other columns will also add that in there. So that's 30% there, so we have to account for that. Now going back to my whatchamacallit here, my comparison. So now I got to take out 30% there. That means that I got another 18% ground attack from that Senate. Let's go see if that adds up. This is going to be a great and long video. You guys can watch 10 minutes a day for the next 2 months until I post my next video. All right, so ground. I have, if you don't know, the first two tabs, I have different generals. You can't tell where I'm touching. But the Governor 1 is here, and now the middle one is Commander is there. So I have 2 of each of these generals. So I'm getting more buffs than it shows at one time. So let's look at my ground. Ground HP, ground attack, 4%. And we were looking for 18%, weren't we? We're trying to account for 18%. And then here I have, that's it. Okay. So we found 4% so far. There's no ground attack on here. It's range attack. So now, there's no ground attack here either. There's no troop attack either. So far we only found 4%. And that was on this column. Now here we have nothing. But I did switch out Simeon. And there we get nothing. So I don't know why my ground attack is up that much. This has been a great video. Holy cow, I can put generals down here? No way. I found more slots that I can put generals. This is going to be a problem. I'm going to be in a tavern forever. I didn't know that. In rally? Okay. Maybe that's why I never put him in there, because I wasn't too worried about rally. I would have stuck a guy in there. Man, I'm going to need more slots for generals. I don't know where the other buffs came from, guys. You know, those are the switches I made. And I'm getting like 50% more attack in every column. Huh. My debuffs were actually higher on the mounted or the ground HP. But most of the debuffs are exactly the same. You guys getting dizzy? So, the only thing I found different was this HP right here, I think it was. Nope. It was this HP, the 1350 went up to 1328. I don't know what, who knows? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the difference was. I do think I didn't have my, one thing I like to do is beef up the shrine on battle days. I don't know that I had this going for my range. What do you get? Range attack, hand siege machine attack, and then mounted defense and ground defense. I don't know if I had that going the first battle or not. Kind of looks like I did based on the stats, but I don't know. Make the switch in your Senate, get the free boost, and not know where the rest of your buffs are coming from. If somebody figures it out, let me know, because I haven't changed anything else since then. Or I'm sure I didn't, just don't remember. I really don't know. I don't know. All right, so we're going to leave that for battle reports. You're going to have to watch my other videos. Nothing's changed on like my why I star all these guys. I think maybe my last video I didn't have one of these last guys done. What I do want to do is my Archer Tower guy. This guy's pretty decent, but I cannot get another copy. If I got another copy, I would get a lot of buffs out of him. I would get another range and siege HP of 75%. That's 70% HP total. And I would get enemy range troop and siege machine defense debuff. I would keep that, but I can't get another copy of him. So what I want to do is finish ascending Ban Chao. So what I would lose is I would lose some range attack debuff here, I think. Increase range troop attack by 20. That's cool. That's what I would lose. And it would reduce their ground troop HP by 15%. I really want my range troop attack. But if I did fully finish Ban Chao, he's barely better than Ashoka. So if you look at Ban Chao, I would lose the range troop attack, but I would gain enemy mounted troop attack debuff, which I guess would help against this clown that I faced this week. Sorry if I called you a clown. You're impressive. And I would increase my range city troop attack by 20%. Oh, I would still get my range troop attack. But now you can see, along with all that, I would be getting, when he's the archer tower officer, I would get in-city troop and siege machine defense and HP, and defense, and archer tower attack, which I don't really know how much that really helps you. The archer tower is goofy. Like, they can attack me, and my archer tower basically is like a troop tier. If you in a weak troop tier, like 1,000 troops. So if you hit me before you hit my rally, if you sent an attack at me, my archer tower says it's repairing. So before you rally somebody like me, maybe just send in a little wussy march to take out somebody's archer tower. I'm teaching you guys how to beat me. I don't care. Because once you take a hit, that archer tower needs like 3 hours to repair. So I don't really care about archer tower attack that much, but all these other stats do remain. It's not like a subsidy when you run out of generals. So anyways, once I finish this guy off, I'll do it the next Trial of Hearts or whatever it's called, Trial of Knights. I'll finish this one out, and I'll just beef up my siege and range troop defense and HP. But then in the last one, I'm also going to get 20% attack. Nothing special, but it would be an upgrade. So that's what I got in the works. Something else I've been doing until the tavern trick came out here. I've been going into my marketplace, and I've been buying Monarch gear like crazy. And I've heard, like, here, I'll buy this thing. Well, you didn't see what I touched, but now you can. I'll just keep buying that Monarch gear. Some of it's better priced than others, but your Monarch gear, if you look at the bottom, ground troop defense has numbered stats. So when you're talking your mounted troop stuff, you're getting 400 HP. That goes to my T1 layer. So these are better than some of the new ones that just have percentages. So these new ones are great for attacking because they help your higher tiers if you have a higher level. I just assume keep my sorry, my sinuses are acting up again. Not getting emotional on you guys, but my main point is just use the original ones. They give you numbers unless you got some crazy high of the premium ones and you're attacking. But for defense, you want these. I mean, here I'm getting 150 mounted troop defense for my wall. That's huge. I don't know if you remember my previous videos. The reason we refine our general to have the numbers on your wall is because it's like 4,000% HP to your T1 layer. You can get percentages everywhere else, but you want your wall general to have those numbers. You're just going to have to go back and look at the video on how to refine these things. I did approve some of my refining. I'll thumb through them. You can pause and look at my numbers. They're pretty impressive to me. I mean, these things are expensive. I kept that range troop attack whole. I would rather have it be mounted. I guess I should work on that. But for the most part, they're all high level. Like, let's go take a look at refining this here. They're all gold. So, I mean, there's not much room for improvement. I guess I could improve that one. But nonetheless, that's not why we're here. I am refining my do you want to see the refines on this clown? So I have mounted troop HP and attack. I would rather have the attack, but they were good HP, so I kept them for now. But just do them all mounted. I know I have a couple attacks that aren't mounted, but try to get everything mounted. Definitely for HP and defense, no percentages. All mounted HP and defense, no percentages. Even if you get a gold 25% mounted troop, a percentage defense, delete. I'd rather have a white numbered mounted troop defense than a percentage, than a gold percentage. Just trust me. That's what works. I've tried it. That's what works. Of course, I got my orb on here too. It's not quite done, but it's almost, I think, one more level, and that's going to be fully done. So slight improvements here or there since the videos from a few months ago. Let's move on here. That was the market layout. Oh, here's the other thing I want to show you. I kind of skipped over it when we were reading battle reports. Let's go to that big rally I took, 4,000 mounted troop. I didn't want to cover it then. I wanted to cover it now. This, I kind of hinted I was trying this out. I don't know if it's working or not, but I would say my defense is working, so I'm going to show it to you. Here's the bottom layer. I got 150 million mounted troop. I was playing around with like 99 for a while, but now we're starting to go against some bigger opponents. But look at the top of the screen, if you're not already. I have 96 million T2 mounted troops. I kind of feel like this gives me two big T1 layers, right? It didn't kill as much as my T1, but I lost half as much. So I would say it acted just like a T1 layer. I'm also hoping when people scout me, they're just going to scroll past that and then say, oh, he's only got 150 million T1. Then they attack me, and they might not even notice that I got this T2 layer up here at the top of my screen. So they're a little more expensive to make and heal. So if you're trying to be a cheapskate, just make 300 million T1. But remember, I'm trying to be a trap. I'm trying to look weak. I'm trying to bait people. I'm hoping they don't notice it. I think it's working. I mean, I could beef it up more, but I feel like if I get over that 100,000 mark, it's really going to catch their eye when they're scouting. I don't know. Like, I think when people look at a scout, they just scroll down to the bottom as fast as they can and see how many T1 they have. And that's it. They look at their top layers and their T1. That's what I do anyways. So the other thing that I told you about in another video, my traps. These abatis target mounted, so you can see I have most of my traps as abatis or whatever it's pronounced. I'll tell you why again. So I have like 5,000 of everything else-ish. You can kind of see what I have, but I have one big layer of these abatis because they are supposed to target mounted troop. Now, I don't do that because I'm worried about mounted troop attacks coming at me. What I'm trying to do is knocking out just a couple layers. So if you look at their report, when they're sending in 1,000 mounted T1 and 1,000 mounted T2, I'm trying to knock those out. And specifically, and this wasn't my idea. I copied somebody else from the internet. I can't think of his name. It's in the other video I talked about it. Your archer tower targets mounted troops. If you send in ground, I don't even think they attack it. Like if you just send in one T1 ground, the guy that taught me about it, Optimizer Ebony, look him up. He said that they'll get to your wall and kill traps if you send ground and nothing else, because the archer tower targets mounted troops. So that being said, I'm trying to combine my archer tower and the abatis to take out just a couple layers of mounted troop. So now instead of him sending 52 layers at me, he might have 48. That's the plan. Is it working? You be the judge. They don't tell you what kills what. I mean, actually, if you look at a report, it will tell you what your traps killed, but it won't tell you what troop type they killed. So my abatis took out 8,000 troops, and I'm hoping they specifically took out a couple layers of mounted troop. That's all. I still build a few of everything else because I just want them to engage in case that matters. It takes a turn up, in it, so to speak. But I'm just trying to take out a couple layers. I hope that makes sense. That was a long explanation. All right, so after this, I was going to go through player feedback. Somebody had talked about I sigh because I should stop. Somebody talked about my ideal land buffs. I don't think we need to go into that. You can see my ideal land is not that sexy. 520. I get some buffs from here, but not much. Oh, I shouldn't even say that. I guess I'll have to look into it for a different video. Somebody also said, you're lucky that you didn't get attacked with Big Siege or he would have really killed you. That's not necessarily true. Because if somebody would have sent Siege and sent their T14, T15 Siege, they're going to do damage on me, but they're going to kill my weaker Siege, and I'm going to get a lot of points. And I have plenty of reports to show that. So, what I'm talking about, I'm really dreading how long this video is going, guys. What I'm talking about is my troop layers. Oh, that's right. My siege are out of my city right now. You can see I only have almost 300,000 T14s. That's because they die really easy when they send siege at me. So I really thin out my top, and then, I mean, you've watched my videos. You know what I'm doing. Then I start to increase my siege down here. I've got 1.4 million of the 11s. Got a bunch of 10s. Or no, I don't. I got to rebuild those. I got to remember to do that. I lost these T10 this week. I forgot about that. Any more siege than this, they send a siege march at me, they're going to win on power big time. And I'm going to lose on points. So if they started sending bigger siege, I'm going to get even more points. So it's set up like this for a reason. They will kill all my siege, and my barrier will just destroy their siege march after that. So the more they send, the more points I get. So I don't know if that makes sense. I don't even remember who said that. Somebody said, all right, do a crypto update. I'd love to know more on that, which is great that one person said that. If you remember, like in my first video, I told you Bitcoin was like around 30,000. It's up to about 52,000 right now. He asked me specifically where you would buy it. Bitcoin is semi-complicated to buy. Actually, Coinbase, it's pretty easy. If you can get a Coinbase account, you can go there. I'm going to tell you this. If you bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, you would probably lose like $35 in fees. That's a guess, but they charge fees. So, I mean, right off the bat, you're starting with $965 Bitcoin, and you got to get that, 3.5% back, which I think you're going to get it back. But don't buy it because of what I'm saying. I'm just saying it is clumsy to buy. But what happened recently with Bitcoin is the government approved Bitcoin ETFs, so you can actually buy your Bitcoin in the stock market now. I use ARKB, but there's others. I just prefer them versus the big Black Rocks and whatnot. So you can get into it a lot easier now than you used to. That's why it's going up. But the big catalyst for Bitcoin is coming in April. And it really is going to greatly reduce the supply on exchanges. It's a big wormhole to go into that this video is already long enough. There's plenty of videos on it. I'd love to do one just on crypto. But don't go buying crap crypto. There's some good cryptos that aren't Bitcoin, but there's some really dumb ones. And if you do buy the dumb ones, make your money and get out quickly because they're going to go down in about another year. And there's a reason for that too. I'm going to shut up. We're going to get out of this video, and we'll see you again soon.